Hello everyone, this is Brian Timmons. I am an aspiring violin maker in Texas. Big emphasis on the aspiring part because I've never made one before, but I've decided that it is my goal that I am going to pursue this field. Yeah, you can't really call yourself a cook if you've never made a meal, and you certainly can't call yourself a chef. So I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time. Today, in light of my new goals, I procured some tools that I believe are going to help me further my goals. My friend Chris became aware of an estate sale in his town and invited me out there to help peruse what offerings were being shown. One of the things that I helped do was help the family members price out some of the more valuable hand planes in particular. I saw planes that are worth maybe $20, $30 sitting next to for instance, a bronze-bodied infill plane, which is worth hundreds, or even just a Stanley No. 5 Bedrock sitting next to a plane that's worth $20. I would pick up the Bedrock and I'd say, you guys need to not let this go for less than whatever this is going for on eBay. Look up the prices because these are collector's items. Do not let them go cheap. And thanks for that, we got to have first crack at the items that were going to be for sale.
Not too long ago, when my interest was just in general woodworking, I would have lusted after this entire table. Although, these are the special planes that I set aside, saying, if you sell these cheap, the ghost of this man is going to haunt you. So, know what you have and price accordingly. This dude had so many tools, so many saws, more saws than any human being would need, more molding planes of every possible shape, so many egg beater drills. How many drills does one man need? I don't know, but this guy had all of them apparently. Spoke shaves in every possible design and configuration, some random spoon carving plane even. What even is all this?
Also, everything that I bought today that has an edge on it had to be cleaned up because there were either nicks in the edge or it was profiled unevenly. So I had my friend Chris, who is a blacksmith and bladesmith, help me with that, and you will meet him shortly. This is Chris. He likes to make stuff. Say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
And this is the blacksmith shop where Chris does volunteer work at the Chisholm Trail Museum in Cleburne, Texas. Go see him sometime. He'll make something out of metal for you.
And here is what I picked up today.
It doesn't even fit in frame, does it? Hang on a second here. All right. So this bad boy right here is going to work just dandy as a roughing gouge for carving rough archings in both spruce and maple for the tops and the backs. And I believe that this bevel angle should suffice for that. It's clearly not a wood turning tool because the bevels on those are sometimes 45, sometimes 60 degrees. They're very, very steep, and I believe that this can be sharpened up quite well. The next gouge I got is this narrow little beast right here. It's, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch, maybe half an inch wide or so. I haven't really measured it yet, but it's got a pretty decent sweep, nothing too crazy, and I imagine this is going to help me around corner blocks and carving channels for purfling and such. These two are going to be pretty handy. This one had already been ground as a skew chisel facing, let's say left-ish, and this one towards the right. This one had a straight bevel across. It was just a paring chisel with a 90-degree edge, but I decided I wanted a twin for this one. Even though they're not exactly the same, they're both roughly about the same blade size and should work quite well for carving recesses in necks. And now a series of hand planes in varying sizes. I already had a block plane in my collection. Definitely a little bit more beefy than this Stanley 60 and a half like this one, it does have an adjustable throat on it. This one is a little bit more nimble, and it is also a lower angle compared to the standard angle block plane that I already have, but it's so much lighter in the hand that it's going to be very handy for upcoming tasks. And this little guy is a little bit smaller, just great for medium work, where I don't need something quite this big or this small, and certainly not this big. It's just good to have a variety of solutions. And this little cute little number right here, this is going to be great for trimming down ribs, for instance, after they've been glued, and just for, whoa, sorry, dropped that, various smaller tasks. It survived just fine. And a nice little set of dividers with really, really sharp pins on there. That's going to be very handy for setting distances between, say, string grooves on bridges, nuts, peg holes, and pretty much anything that you need regular intervals for. And this nice coping saw with this large throat going around, because you need something with this much clearance in order to cut F-holes. These kind of F-holes, you perv. And I also found a few books on the subject. This one seems to be sort of a historical background, not really much and not really any illustrations. This one has got a little bit more on the technical side, showing some illustrations and kind of laying out the visual history of the art form. And this one is a fairly basic illustrated guide, very heavy on pictures, kind of giving just basic templates, nothing super detailed in terms of methodology. Although one reason I definitely wanted to get it was because it has this very handy reference section in the back showing standard measurements. So this is definitely going to be useful.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little excursion into my world, such as it is. I'm sorry I don't really have much of anything to show off at the moment because I am still learning how to make instruments. I do have in progress a sithole that I'm building, which is a medieval instrument, and I'm building it in non-medieval methods, and this will have a lengthy build video coming up shortly, but I've decided to give you a little preview here. So this is going to be the box, or the sound box for the sithole, which is, it's a little, yeah, the camera makes it look bigger than it actually is. It's kind of a small, kind of a ancestor to a modern guitar, if that. More like a distant cousin, I think. But I haven't glued the back in place yet. I did make a rib garland for it. And this is the part I mentioned where it is not a historical build, because the originals for these things were basically carved out of one slab of wood. They would just carve this massive recess and just glue a soundboard on top of it, which I don't imagine would make for a really light and resonant instrument. So I'm saying to hell with historical accuracy. I want to make something that sounds good. And this will be the spruce top for the sithole, and I have already carved the rosette for the front out of sapele mahogany. It's reinforced on the back with some bits of rosewood and paper reinforcing these very delicate thin pieces of wood, and it should look kind of cool when it's all together. So I hope you guys stick around for that, because it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So, even though I am a brand new instrument maker and I really don't have a whole lot to show for myself, I really hope that you all have enjoyed tuning in and getting a glimpse in this part of my world, such as it is. And if all goes to plan, things should be a little bit more exciting pretty shortly. And I'm very excited to show off my journey and learn along with you all and share my experiences. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in the next one.